Welcome to our reading on the firm and market structures. Now we start with an LOS that says describe the characteristics of market structures, and you'll notice we range from perfect competition through to monopoly. And in fact that's really what the rest of this reading is about, describing each one of these in turn. So you can really review this slide and think of it as a summary slide, a really good little revision tool to make sure you can describe all these features and you know why. So let's just quickly run through these, but we're going to see them in more detail later. So first of all, we look at the number of sellers, the number of firms. Notice in perfect competition we have many firms, through to monopoly where we have a single firm. We then have barriers to entry, very low for perfect competition, through to very high for monopoly. Now again, the significance of barriers to entry will be economic profit. If you generate economic profit in the short run, under perfect competition, that's going to increase. That's going to lead to an increase in the number of competitors, and therefore industry supply will increase, price will come down, and economic profits will be eroded. So think low barriers to entry, unsustainable economic profit, high barriers to entry. Now, of course, profit maximization for all firms is where marginal revenue equals marginal cost. So let's put that in. And of course, extend the line up until it hits price to get our total revenue, extend up from quantity until it hits average total cost to get total cost, and the difference between total revenue and total cost, of course, is our area of economic profit. Now, the critical point to note with monopoly is because of the very high barriers to entry, that economic profit can be generated in both the short run and the long run. Compare that to monopolistic competition, where because of the low barriers to entry, you could generate an economic profit in the short run, but that would increase competition, increase industry supply, and force prices down in the long run. Okay, so this is single price, single pricing. Then let's talk about price discrimination. Now let's talk about what it is first of all. Price discrimination means selling your goods, identical goods, at different prices to different customers. In other words, what we're going to try and do is divide the marketplace up into customers with different demand elasticities. To the customers that are relatively inelastic in their demand, we're going to charge a higher price, and to customers that are more elastic in their demand, we're going to charge a lower price. By doing that, what we're going to be able to see is that we're going to be able to increase the firm's essentially economic profits. The firm will be more profitable. Why? Because it's charging prices for customers that are equal to their marginal benefit. By doing that, what the firm is actually doing is it's taking consumer surplus and converting it to producer surplus. Okay, now of course, let's start off without our price discrimination. So they're going to price where marginal revenue equals marginal cost, and that gives you the price of 70 in our particular diagram. Okay, fair enough. Now, actually, let's just see. Do my lines animate? Yes, they do, sorry. So notice, without price discrimination, they've got a cost of 70 and a price of 100. Marginal revenue equals marginal cost. That gives you profit maximizing quantity of 80. Extend the line up until you hit the demand curve to get price, 100 in this case. Where you hit your average total cost curve, go along to get total cost 70. Okay, and you can see therefore that we're making $30 of economic profit per unit. 80 units, 30 times 80, a profit of 2,400. Now, with price discrimination, we're going to charge a higher price to people that have more inelastic demand. Okay, so different prices to different customers. Now, you probably experience this on maybe on a daily basis yourself. With commuting, I commute in London, and you'll find that the price of a London Underground ticket is more expensive during the rush hour. So during, if they have an elastic demand curve, probably not. Our issues are when you've got an uncompetitive industry and less elastic demand, because of course then we're going to start to see economic profits being generated. Right, okay, let's finish our reading off with a little question. A market where individual producers face downward sloping demand, barriers to entry are low and producer pricing decisions are not directly affected by decisions of other producers is, let's think about it, an oligopoly? No, not oligopoly, because remember, they are affected by the decisions of other producers. Remember the idea of an oligopoly, understand the industry demand, okay, and then essentially base everything from that. You don't know your firm demand curve because it's affected by the actions of your competitors. Perfect competition? Well, again, it's not going to be perfect competition. Barriers to entry are low. Well, that would be fine for perfect competition. Pricing decisions are not affected by pricing decisions of others. That would be fine. The problem is downward sloping demand curve. Perfect competition is perfectly elastic and therefore horizontal. So our answer therefore has to be C by a process of elimination, monopolistic competition, downward sloping demand curve, still pretty elastic though, downward sloping demand curve, of course, low barriers to entry, conclusions can't generate economic profits in the long run.